What's up, guys? Alright, I think this is the final response for the original 9 topics. I just saw that my topic 2 didn't post correctly. I don't know what happened there, so I'm going to have to go back and repost it. Maybe I'll just refilm it, I don't know. So I'm going to do a combination one for this last one. I'm going to do 8 and 9 together, just because it seemed like the main focus of issue was political correctness for both of them. I know that for 8 he started out with laws change, and I redressed on the other one. So as far as political correctness goes, that was actually my question. That was one I asked. I think I asked 1 or 2 more, so hopefully, Dale, you'll be able to get to those ones when you start it up again. But political correctness, I had to ask that one, because obviously, you asked for some big hitting issues, and I really did want your opinion on it. It's a big topic, and it's an underlying issue with a lot of other issues. It's one of those triggers. It's not necessarily the thing that's out in the open, but it's in the background. It's subliminally, it's in the subconscious, at times. When you're in the workplace and you got to think about, every little thing you're saying, you're not necessarily consciously doing it, but you've gone through all those seminars to, what is sexual harassment, what is appropriate and not in the workplace. Anybody who's worked in a cubicle, or for a major corporation, I haven't, but, I have buddies who have, they tell me they have to go through those seminars. So I think, it's still a pretty big question in today's society. And I don't necessarily feel it should. I think it was a big topic, 40, 50 years ago, and I think it should have kind of worked its way out now, but for some reason it really hasn't. Some people can look to affirmative action to cause that, which I think originally affirmative action was great. I think it was necessary at the time. I think that, with all the racial tension that was going on between whites and blacks in this country, I think you did need some forced, social interaction, especially in the workplace, to understand we're not that different. But I don't necessarily see it anymore, and you bring up the great point of, the less qualified getting the job just because of sex, religion, skin color, whatever. And that really bothers me. I'm a big fan of the most qualified person gets the job. The person with the most experience, the person who can meet the needs of that position should be the person to get that job, regardless. He could be the most bigoted, anti-Semitic with tattoos, all over his body, but as long as they're covered in the workplace and he doesn't make him, and he can get his job done, do it. As long as he can work well in a team, if that's what the position calls for, and he can, leave his stuff at the door when he walks in, to the office that day, cool. Hire him. Same goes for ex-cons, I had a buddy's dad who, chose not to, hire a guy because of, a former, charge that he had, gone to jail for. And it had nothing to do with the position, absolutely nothing. It was something he had done when he was younger and was stupid. And I didn't really understand why. It was a non-violent crime. I can't remember right now what the hell it was, but people make mistakes, Everybody does something illegal. Everybody. Whether it's speeding down the highway or, whatever. Everybody does something illegal. So, I don't really understand judging people for their pasts. Evaluate the person for who they are. Evaluate them for their qualifications. Evaluate them for their intelligence and their personality. The history shit, it's kind of important to understand how that person came to that point of view that they have now and, the experiences, but not to judge them on, only to get a better understanding of what makes that individual who they are. My arms are getting tired. So I'm really interested, and for Dale, for the most part, I agree with your comments on political correctness. I think it's gone too far, and even as a political science major, I have no idea where it stemmed from or what created it. I think that your explanation of forced integration in the workplace is probably a good place to look for that answer. as to what began political correctness, because I don't know. Might ask a professor or two what they think on it. It's just one of those topics that I still can't believe it's as big as an issue, as I've already said, but we will see, what ends up happening with it. I don't, before 9/11, I don't think we'd had, a big hatred. You're always going to have those people who are racist, and, everybody is a little racist. I don't care what you say. Everybody is a little racist. You think one stereotype might be true, or, something. My girlfriend is a theater major, and I think there's a Broadway production that is, I think it's called Avenue Q. It's done with puppets. It's pretty funny. She made me listen to the soundtrack on a road trip one time, and they have a song. It's called, I believe it's called "Everyone's a Little Bit Racist." Funny song. Look it up on YouTube. You'll enjoy it. I think they also have one that's called "The Internet's for Porn." Listen to them. They're funny as hell, and if you can see a video for it, watch the video, because just it coming out of puppets' mouths is just hilarious. But, you're always going to have those people who are, the hardcore racists, and I guess especially in our prison systems, that's just kind of how it is. You kind of separate by race more than anything else. But, I don't know. I think the majority of Americans who don't look at things from only that perspective, I think we should tone down political correctness a little bit. I think for a long time it was not okay to call a black person black. You had to call them African American, and now African American is used to describe someone who was born in Africa and has since migrated to the United States. So now they have that term, so now it's politically correct, again, to call a black person black as long as they are native of the United States. I almost said Native American. That's a different one. That's what I'm talking about. That's a little ridiculous. And the idea of using those derogatory terms, that apply to your race, but no one else being able to say it, that's bullshit. Fucking bullshit. If you have that big of a problem with someone else saying the word, why are you saying it? Why are you saying it? You're only continuing the cycle. If N-word, for example, if black people stopped using the N-word, then you really only would have your racists using that word. And it would probably slowly die out, as racism gets smaller. I don't know, it's just a theory. I do have friends that make that same distinction, between the derogatory term and the politically correct term. I had a couple buddies who I grew up in high school with. Their parents were actually extremely, racist. I remember being a little kid getting in the car, and just some of the comments I would hear, and some of the jokes. The jokes were kind of funny, I could have a little bit of a laugh. But then the comments that came along with it, about maybe like passing someone on the street or something, took a little bit to the next level. But, I agree with you, humor's good. A smile always makes the situation better for the most part. Alright, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Bootleg, I look forward to the 2 responses to my other questions. I can't even remember what the hell they were now. I look forward to it, and and I hope some people get on here and post some videos to it. I know a lot of people have already watched it, and it's not in their subscription thing that pops up on the main YouTube thing anymore. But anybody who's seen this, make some more videos. I completely agree. We should get the dialogue going. I think that's one of the greatest methods of learning is hearing other people's point of views, weighing them against your own, and then logically and soundly, via argument and civil discourse, going through, what is the best idea, or you'd be surprised. Your idea might change somebody else's, and make them a better person, a more intelligent person. So, I think that it's a good idea for us to keep going with this, and hope we get some more video responses for it. So take it easy, guys.